But it also means that now we're at the halfway point, that the teams down in the 7 through 12, like closing that gap is looking real dire. Only 19 points on Sus in 7th place there. But we do have a chance now for maybe some action to come down at the top with Hunter bans coming into the fold as well. I believe we have 3 of those, the most picked here in our first 3 matches, Magical.
Yeah, and I already got a peek at which Hunter bans they're going to be. I'm going to save it till we have the graphic up on stream.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
It is. I will say, it should both be surprising and unsurprising at the same time.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So Nyx isn't going to be banned because we don't. Have This is so sad. This is so. Will Nyx get played now that we have some bans? Come on! I just want to see the new gun in action. It's all right though. I think though when we have a chance though, we can bring up those Hunter bans and see what we've got underway. We also have bullet trains coming up after this, so we actually held bullet trains just for Magical to come after the break to get you all to stick around. But Samari, here we go.
Oh.
Our banned Hunters coming up on the screen now.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 were definitely expected. Oath, of course, Kingpin, but then Ghost being the 3rd one. I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, just looking at the games, yeah, you could kind of count the Ghosts and say, yeah, that's probably going to be banned too.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's like both surprising and unsurprising at the same time. Because it's like, oh yeah, the Ghost gets banned. Oh wow, crazy. But then it's like, oh wait, almost every team had Ghost. So it actually does make sense. Oath and Kingpin, though, I think are going to be big ones. Because Kingpin and EU, that has been their Hunter for ages. That is their #1 played. We have some of their best Kingpin players in EU. But Oath also getting banned, it's really going to shake up some of our teams. Like big teams I'm looking at that are going to have to really go back to the drawing board and figure out what they want to do. Rat, these are 2 of their Hunters. They got the Tetra as well for Cookies, but what do they do from here? It's like some of our teams that aren't even at the top are getting hurt pretty hard by the bans.
Yeah, and it's just I'm just wondering, like, for example, for like 3rd and 4th place, like what the bans were looking like. You know, what was the difference in percentages? Because you know, if there was another character that was really close, was that like a key piece for someone else's composition that they, you know, actually now continue to play? So it's gonna be really interesting to see.
I am curious now that we have the bans locked in. Magical, do you see this affecting any of our top teams here in a maybe negative way to help even out the field, especially looking at SB?
Yeah, I mean, Gecko not going to have their Oath anymore is going to be a pretty big thing. So losing Oath, I think, is going to really make a lot of teams have to completely reformulate their draft style, their comp that they go into for this one. Because Oath does enable a lot of safer play styles and makes it so that you can play a little bit more passively. But now that you've lost Oath, what do you decide to go for as your defensive tool?
Well, questions like this are going to be answered. Choo-choo, Magical, it's time for Bullet Train.
All aboard as we are ready for match 4. And looking at the drop right now, the circle might be centered, but the drop, it ain't.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the picks. It was Gecko and I believe someone from GRR on Jules. So of course the Jules are coming out in abundance with Oath being banned. It's something we love to see. You know, these lesser played characters finally seeing some time in the spotlight. You know, seeing 2 souls kind of on the bottom left hand side of the map, Wellspring and Manacores respectively. So yeah, look at all the drops. Like about 4 or 5 teams already going towards that kind of location.
I thought that maybe Cold Fang would be where we saw the hot drop, but most are teams fighting around Mana Coils and Enshrine with bans and much more aggressive Hunters that have been picked across the board. I actually expect not just one, but probably a couple teams to fall day 1 and night 1.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the case, honestly, because
Nyx, woof.
Wow. Okay, so Phantom's taking it. That's just completely big shock to me. So. There we go. So we've broken the EU curse of not picking a new character, at least from season 2 at least. So at the same time, we're looking at Bao as well with a little mini exchange between GRR, but we are seeing an SOSS picked up. Nice meaty punch by Baruth, and the chain followed by Orlando's. Wixen 1 HP.
Oh, nice blink, but they're still in a bad spot because guess what? So many teams drop there as a beautiful Bola to disengage and make sure they get out, but it is Shichi Playing it now, Bishop Ghost Ban has swapped over to what we saw the crazy plays before that ultimately knocked out TSM from the qualifiers.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be an Abyssal Hatchling straight away, probably going free to WAF, unless Aggressive goes in for a nice little cheeky steal right at the end. He's chilling in the bush, but it's probably made enough audio cues to probably notify that WAF that he's there. So he's going to be kind of careful about how he juggles this one, maybe slightly under-leveled, but they're catching someone out. Orlando's maybe gets a nice little knockaway at the last second, but Wixen's looking for the kill, going for there with the reinforcements. The bonus unfortunately misses, but those shift exchanges with the LMBs does mean that Orlando's is dead.
Aggressive is taking a lot of damage with that level 6. Phantom, the one to find it. Nyx picking up the kills. Wixen is on the ball, but he is immediately put down in the dirt, leaving only Godfrey to get out of there and look for a respawn out in the desert.
Yeah, we are seeing 3 teams, very, very close to each other on Coldfang. It looks like 3LP are looking to probably chase out Calcio in this situation on that Zeph. Gets a nice little Vortex Charm. Only hits 1 though. On super low HP already. Can't really do too much more on his own. Unfortunately, they do get 1 kill down. And it is Sus now maybe looking to potentially close them out. There's a big armor difference, of course, with everything. Picking up an armor straight off the bat. Acklings on half HP again, rapidly healed up. I think they're going to be able to stabilize in this scenario, but we know that 3LP obviously always likes to play aggressively, and Leatherthy potentially might be the next victim here.
Trying to swap over to Highland, but he is going to be followed up because someone grabbed that teleport alongside him, getting some damage onto Acklinks, but Acklinks pinpointing the location of Void while Squayu loses their life. I was about to say, Sus is our only team, really, that isn't heavily impacted by these bans. Every one of their hunters is the same, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't matter. It was a hard drop to fight against 3LP in Coldfang.
Yeah, it's a nice couple of kill points, as we mentioned before. They're just going to keep accruing for their 3LP. So, even if they don't have as good a placement, those placement points can come, in as the kind of clutch factor to potentially, go from like 3rd to 2nd or 2nd to 3rd, of course. Looks like Orlando's, yes, that's a nice little knockaway at the last second against SP. They're really trying to desperately get the kill. They're probably going to be successful right at the end. There we go. Orlando's is down again. So, Bao not having the best of games, Magical.
No, losing 2 of their hunters. Well, we just saw SB only losing 1 for themselves, so they're actually in a fairly good spot compared to a lot of the other teams. Most teams were running with Oath, Kingpin, or Ghost. Obviously, that's why they got banned. But for some of our teams at the top, it's actually really interesting to see that Bao got hit heavily from it, but not the same for other teams. Like right here, 3LP, they're a team that actually has almost all of their hunters outside of that Kingpin for Aiden, but Aiden is well known for playing many different hunters.
Yeah, and another big call out as well is Meki Mech as well, right? Because he used to be like the KP god that everyone pretty much knew. There's countless clips of him getting like crazy hooks, but now he's actually swapping onto the Saros, so it's going to be kind of a new macro style of play for those guys. They don't have the typical hook dunk combo that they would typically have with Tetra, so it's going to be interesting to see how they can maneuver with that new combo and maybe get some kills, maybe some good positions, as we're already looking at SB, maybe looking to apply pressure onto AUR. Looks like they're both relatively the same in levels, apart from Shin, he has the level 7, so he's still got the fuse slot. Pops the bonus, gets a nice little stun connection, Greninja super low on HP, Gecko's getting this massive dashes in. Sebi also dead. It's just, who is it?
No, he's not. He's been brought back up because of the Luna, but Sebi there
I got you,
does fall, and now it's Hootis on the run. A squishy Luna with a root on to Shiv, dodging and beating Shin. Hootis proving why the Battle Bunny needs to be feared.
Yeah, just took a page out of Micah Munch's book there on that Illuna, getting that nice little free solo kill. Looks like Acklinks has also picked up an armor as well at the same time. We're looking at potentially some green on green bandits on the grind as well. As we look flick down, we're looking at Rue. Looks like they've also picked up a couple of armors as well. They have the high ground just temporarily. Maybe getting some shot buys in for some grips, etc. Adam Marcus just dancing around, trying to farm up some mobs whenever possible. Looks like there's a slight bit of a level difference. And I think a nice little cheesy EMP nade as well, catching Fuzu out.
Fuzu still has the rest of the team to back him up, and Fate Strike's holding on to gold armors. Could be a good fight for them if they can find a good pick. Vortex Charm getting some damage onto Adamark, but they are mostly behind. Fuzu repairing some of the armor, but Calcio, one of those players that got hit by the bans, not on Oath this time around, is on a more supportive Zeph. And is it going to work out for Rue and work out for a lot of these other teams where they lose a lot of that defensive style and have to play more aggressive, as Aurora playing aggressive against aggressive, but he's been caught out with Gur. Godfrey putting down the bullet and trying to see if they can get the root, while Aurora trying to get away from the Shies. Shies trying to see if they can chip some people out of the air. Hoodis going to be the target, leaving only Greninja on Krista to escape.
Yeah, I really like that kind of macro play from Shy. Definitely getting that clean third party and getting a couple of kills, and they definitely need a lot of banger games to really bring themselves back up through those leaderboards, as we saw not too long ago when we were getting a refresher on the scoreboards. Levithi also finding a kill as well. Greninja looking to get that res off at the last second as well. Is going to be successful with it being bullet trains. We're expecting that the whistle to be heard multiple times. I'm hoping, at least today.
We'll see. We usually get to the very top of competitive, tend to not see nearly as many whistles, but you never know. And looking at the Storm Shift right now, it is going to have a lot of territory to play with Abyss. 3LP fighting against Rat. Rat losing some of their composition there, losing their low range comp they usually run with the Tetra Kingpin Oath combo. Now, they saw that Tetra for cookies as someone has hopped the board. You got to get off your Sky Shark. Was trying to drag him over to the Abyss so he can get the Volcanic Crusher. But now Cookies with low health is an easy target for 3LP. Well, eat well.
Yeah, and we are looking at Meki Mek on the bottom left-hand side. He's going to maneuver all the way around as we flick over to the heart. We're looking at SB, looking to apply a mountain of pressure onto MST. They've already temporarily split ways, so Rebel can hopefully get away on his own way. I'm hoping he's got the ulti as well, so he should be able to get away relatively unscathed. But, you know, super low HP, the Squid, it's not enough. I think he bit off more than he can chew, and Cooper's now having to stick the res onto heart.
Never doubt Death for X grenades, blasting them into the heart. And a tragic finish so early into this game with the bands.
I can't believe it. And we're just seeing Sprokane dead as well. Shrek on steroids also dead to kind of 1-for-1 exchange on either side. Looks like Phantom managed to back on Manacles. He's going for that stick on the res on the left-hand side. Looking at some potential fighting or a little bit of posturing on Entron as well. A lot of teams are really, really aggressively scrapping at the moment. Hopefully things can stabilize.
What do you have else? What else can you bring on a competitive level like we were seeing in the first half of games? Rat, one of those big teams that had to swap up their style, a lot more range than we are used to seeing from this team.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's 5 seconds for double soul spawn just north of Prisma Fall. So all of the teams are probably going to be, grouping up there at some point very, very soon. At the same time, Bao, get outed! Oh, I can't believe it! No way.
That is another early exit for Bao. Further down the standings, they will fall. SB, they're getting a lot of these kills, though, seeing them consistently on the kill feed. As long as they can stay strong, continue to run the path that they are on pace to win our first Turbo Cup.
Yeah, we did see Meki Mek with that kind of unconventional pick again that Oko had last time. That, of course, that new item that gives you a kind of a knockaway when you're at 50% HP. That kind of potentially saved them there at the last second. We are seeing it also being used as well by Calcio with the Paladin's Primer on top of it. Fuse has to split ways from the rest of the team just to try and survive. Rat have lost all the armors amidst the exchange, but now have control over the ship. They can get their buys in and hopefully get a couple more upgrades whenever possible. Root are potentially also on their last legs. As Shire coming in from the right-hand side, maybe looking to try and get some poke in, but we know that they're going to be playing more tactically than typically before, with having Tom Kick potentially with that extra bit of macro, that extra bit of source potentially.
I think they're playing just as aggressive as we tend to see from these players, finding a nice snipe onto Calcio, and they're hunting further and further.
Oh my god.
One of the few teams not hit by bans, and being a top team to not have to worry about any of their hunters being on the bench, they are playing so aggressively, finding a lot of kills.
Yeah, that Hover Wings was just used perfectly there by Fate Strikes, just providing with just enough space to get away there, and hopefully you can get a res, but we do see teams basically surrounding the whole circle. It's not really kind of biased towards one side in this scenario. It looks like Square maybe getting caught out here. Shrek tries to go for a little jump in. Wixen also split from the team as well. Things are looking pretty troublesome for these two kind of stragglers as they kind of temporarily split. We are seeing a Sky Shark play by Square. Actually, doesn't go for the res. That was very, very close there. You had the whistle. No, never mind.
Oh, but Oko! I saw that. The train picks up its first kill here in Turbo Cup history.
Oh my god. And we are looking at Blink in 10 seconds as well. There are like 2 teams on the north of Prisma that could potentially go for it as well. And we know that a lot of teams, well, especially without the KP now, maybe Blink is not as high of a necessary item potentially to kind of, increase the amount of kills that you can potentially get. The res attempt is going to be successful, rapidly making their way into zone. AWAR looking to gatekeep this along with WAF. This is going to spell trouble, Magical.
Levithy did swap above the ledge and is going to get past that rock, but now a huge fight between WAF.
Oh. Yeah, there's no worries there. I can't believe that. That was a super clean, nice little hook in by Phantom at the last second. It looks like Shun is trying to get some poking as well. Nice little ulti. Lizardo manages to survive with a slither HP. I think Depbrex is going to say no to that. He wants to really try and get a kill if possible, but the healing is coming out in droves, of course, with the Zeph. So Apex are going to be able to stabilize pretty rapidly here. But Gecko going with a very aggressive send. It actually kills Rhapsody. And I think Shun is now looking to maybe, finish off Lizardo as well. So it's probably going to be only one member now, probably going to be surviving very, very shortly. That is going to be true, of course. So hopefully, I did see a crown on the top right-hand side as well. As we see see Sebi also getting outed to AUR or outed just afterwards. I can't believe it. It's just never-ending action with, 9th place they ended in that scenario.
Oh,
my
and
God.
Burr also getting eliminated. So now another team gone, but even still, looking at how the circle is continuing on Crystal Falls, more fighting as teams go to the tracks. 3LP try to escape from Waff, but already the kill from Shroom playing aggressively. Phantom trying to bring back up Shrek, but it might be at the cost of Shichi's life in order to do so. Now you're trying to stand up onto Shichi with Shrek nearby, but they have to bail if they want to keep the team's hopes going.
Yeah, and Shrek just got that full heal right at the last second from the mob, so he was lucky to kind of get that to really stabilize himself. Because he didn't even split paths with Phantom and go their own separate ways. They only did that right to the end, and unfortunately, yeah, Vipera is dead to Shin. So SB they've scored so many kills, I feel already magical. This is a big game to them.
They're looking really good, and they're already at the top, starting to separate themselves from the pack, and it's looking like it's going to be an even further split unless a miracle can happen for some of these teams. They need to fight against SB, but with SB, a hunt and kill after kill, looking so strong. And even with Gecko on Jewel, it seems it has not stopped SB like I thought it would. Gecko, such a great oath, but showing off those Jewel mechanics here in EU.
Yeah, he's definitely got the mechanical prowess to follow this. And looks like Levithe's been left to his own devices while Morris has been now, rapidly defeated by SB. So that's going to be another addition to their snowball, it looks like. So it's going to be an avalanche instead of a snowball, it feels like, for SB. They've got the res off, though, right at the end square. Sus, they're only level 8s and 9s respectively compared to level 15 SB. I can't believe it.
And now trying to escape from the clutches of SB. Levithy on the rock, hoping that he can ride that back into the circle. But as they are walking their way down the tracks, it is not an easy time. 6 teams still remain. One of them having to go for their own revive, and that was SB out in the storm. So now, Shy, they're trying to punish, but Shin, that exotic armor is scary enough to make sure that Shy cannot continue their aggression, even though Tom Kick right behind them trying to make sure that he can provide support.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've used their UAV scan yet. No, they've not. Shy should really be using it, ideally, to, maybe get some more information, because I think they were a bit hesitant to go for a full-in because they didn't want to, have another team just instantly third-party them. At the same time, Adamot finds Levithy. They know that they were, on their last leg. So just Oko last alive. Big fight now.
Fusilade, SP, back to the tracks, but right now, Rat have already been in control of that with the bullet train gun, but it's going to be Oko losing their life. Waff has got the change, but it's got a nice wall put up to make sure that nobody can continue to chase on a Rat's boat, but they're going to get a little bit of damage, pelting the boulders back and forth. Rat finding the first casualty on a Waff. Waff sent flying yet again over the abyss. Now 3LP, they're going to join in as Shichi is gone. It's just Shrek left for Wipe and Flex as he has to take the chains to get away, but 3LP hunting down, looking for that kill onto Shrek, but Shrek doing the best he can to try to avoid everybody, but now the Shies, they're the ones that have noticed. He picked up the crown, getting it back. Nice air blast, putting him over to Rat. It forces the fight. 3LP have got the damage on him. It's going to be Shy stealing the kill, though.
He had that face steal chain just perfectly calculated, and Tom just said no to that. That air blast just completely screwed up his plans. That is so unfortunate, man. We saw him heading towards the crown. Everything was looking on the up there, and then Shy just completely just ruined everything there right at the last second. We're looking at 4 squads left, Magical. We've seen some E-Plads already being dropped as well, so hopefully, there's no more teams dying to trains, but, you never know.
It was a really good air blast there from Tom Kick. That was
dude.
Impeccable, proving his skill right there, making sure they wipe, and flex, and now 4 teams remain here. Game 4, SB, big showing for them yet again. Even a top 4 finish for them is enough to keep them well ahead of everyone, unless, of course, 3LP can get a back-to-back victory.
Yeah, we are seeing some amphibian pickups as well, so the potential stealth from Tom Kick might, level the playing field here and maybe get like a surprise spike. Of course, with those Rin Runes being kind of an opportune moment for teams to make their way onto the island on the north side if they wanted to. It looks like Rat have also survived to the late game as well, and they're on the kind of a ship just temporarily. Hopefully, they're going to be okay in this scenario. Oh, he's getting punched away. Hopefully, he's going to make it out. The dagger's already been used. This could be trouble.
That's a lot of damage onto Shin. It forces the fight from SB as they're waiting for Shin to find his flank. He hasn't popped the Fusillade just yet, but he's taking a little bit too much damage. Same for SB as they had lost Gecko to the storm. And now 3LP collapsed. Shin is gone. Deadbrick, he's sandwiched between 2 teams. He hoped to get around the circle, but unfortunately there was no escape. And now Shy stared down 3LP, debating whether or not they want to look for the fight. While Rat feast on the last member of SB.
I can't believe it, man. Like, 3LP just took the most opportune moment to find the rest of the SB members basically with their pants down. They just couldn't do anything in that scenario. So, you know, once Shin had like kind of screwed up the dagger positioning and the back, and he got knocked into zone, like he lost so much time and tempo, and especially having a long cooldown like dagger, you know, already being used. Even if you take it at level 4, it's just so problematic to come back from that, I think.
And 4-3LP, very happy about that it was SB out at 4th and not Shy or Rat, because now that means more likely they can move up in the standings, catch up from that distance that was being made by the Stormbreakers, but they still gotta win if they want to make sure they guarantee that they are closing the gap.
Yeah, but just looking at armor economies as well and perks and things of that nature, it looks like all the teams are relatively even. Shy just slightly underleveled. You know, we saw them looking decent throughout the whole game actually for this one. We've seen Hachi with Blinkstone as well, so there might be some potential, extra crazy plays with like a blink through a wall into a massive punch or an ulti. We just got to hope, see it unfold, I think, here as 3LP looking to apply a little bit of pressure. Hachi tries a punch but doesn't get any connection, unfortunately. The nuke's been dropped. Really trying to circle things out here. Hopefully they can get a pick. The T-Stars popped. Aiden's really forced out. Mega damage!
What a grenade from 3LP to blast Shy back to the tracks. Tom kicked down, E-Plat plays. Strokane trying to defend with Hachi, but there's the shock trap drone. Rat have placed down onto Shy. No. Damage onto Hachi. Only Strokane left. Portals away. It almost kidnapped 3LP, but 3LP had gotten him. It was actually Mech. They picked up the kill, and now Rat, a team that's been working their way up the standings, facing off against 3LP. They've already popped. Make sure that it's going to be a chilling finale for 3LP as they get back to the tracks, debating whether or not they want to continue this fight against 3LP. A Volcanic Crusher onto Aiden, but he goes back over to land into Prisma Falls, waiting for the rest of the team as they skate around, getting some control of the tracks away from Rat, trying to push them off of it. They take control, but back to the boat. Rat, go!
Yeah, hopefully they can stabilize here. They've both been pretty wounded. I think they said, okay, time out here, guys. We just need a little bit of a breather, respectively. But on both sides, I think armor repairs are going to be coming in really, really quickly. Meki's nearly back on full as well, so it's going to be a round 2 coming in very, very shortly here. There's obviously a myriad of different opportunities to get a full in. The wind rings, the pad. They can go around through the ice. There's lots of openings for Rat and 3LP respectively to try and get in and go for a full fight here. Of course, Akalinks, I think, is trying to wait for his ulti cooldown to be up again. Hopefully, when possible. If they're paying attention to the train, yes, they are. So, yep. Of course, you've got to juggle that now, of course, with the end game circle being like this. And Mech's going to continue getting that poke on Saros whenever possible. So 3LP need to kind of play their range kind of a little bit cautiously here because they're going to be losing econ, on the kind of permanent.
Mech was just landing every shot for so long. But yeah, right there, look at that orb, the Nova orb, nearly half health Acklings. Aiden tried to go for the E-Plat, but he has to blink back because Mech's damage is just too insane. Here's the train. Whoa, no! Shroom somehow gets around it barely, but Acklings got kidnapped by it, dragged into the storm. 3LP punished by a train. They might not have died to it, but they died to Rat. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta! As they look for Aiden wearing that crown. He's got nowhere to go, locked in the cage as the Rats play victory laps around 3LP.
Yeah, and somehow Shroom's little toe just got caught on the train right at the end there. Oh, sorry, it was Akalinks and just got sent in. I can't.
What a fire finish. I love it. We got the circle centered on the train tracks at the end. The train comes in at the end to disrupt things as well. And it's the Rats rising up to the top here, Samari, to take this game.
I can't believe it. That was just such a cinematic ending. I really love that like kind of little intermission they had just right before the last fight. And of course, with having someone like Mech with that super long range poke on Saros, it just makes things really, really problematic in a small circle, especially when you know that train is coming at like that set interval. It makes things really, really hard to kind of avoid that poke.
Yeah, I mean, the end was crazy. We'll get there, but Magical, we can talk a little bit about the earlier stages of the game where SB were just kind of going on a rampage, hunting down teams.
That's going to be the thing that keeps them well above everyone as well. Getting all these kills, constantly playing aggressive. They knew that they had the advantage and they could play a little bit more liberally. They could play a little bit more chaotically because they weren't hit too hard by the ban. So they're like, hey, we might as well look for these kills. Yes, Gecko is not on our oath, but because he's on Jewel, we have that liberty to play so crazy and find a lot of these kills that will keep them probably just narrowly above that of 3LP.
Yeah, so SB end up doing pretty well here, but Samari, what else was going through your mind as you watched these teams? 'Cause it seems like we got a fairly similar top 5, top 6, except for the presence of Bao not really being there.
Yeah, exactly. That was the surprise outing. You know, there was a bit of craziness as well, as you saw in one of the replays, as where with Deprek getting that nice displacement charge into the heart. That was like, you know, if you've ever played golf, just getting that hole in one is just so clean and perfect. It's such a satisfying feeling. We're seeing a lot of teams, you know, still maintaining their synergy as well with like new picks, of course, with the bans being in place. You know, everyone is still relatively coherent in respect to their synergy. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun one to watch. As of course now we get down to that final 5. We start closing in on the train track here. It was WAF that I thought were maybe going to stick around for a little bit longer, but ended up going down after this brawl up, or actually the next one I think it was. Oh no, that's the one right there.
It was that one. It was such a good air blast from Tom, because literally Shrek gets out of that 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times you get out of that. But Tom's air blast interrupting the chains to make sure they pick up that kill, denying WAF their crown. That right there gets WAF eliminated at 5th place, and then has even more chaos here as SB. They struggle to find their own placement. There's just nowhere they could really go after. They had to deal with both Rat, they had to deal with Shy, 3LP, with all these gold armors, and you can see how close it is between all these teams.
Yeah, still SB can't be upset about going down in 4th, already being at the top of the standings. But after this fight went down and it turns into Rat versus 3LP, it was this long, protracted time where it just looked like Rat and 3LP were trying to exchange poke here, Samari.
Yeah, man, this sorry, just looking at this last fight, it just caught me off guard again. Just remembering like Acklinks just getting caught. Same with Shroom as well. Oh man, it just turned so sour for 3LP so quickly. I can't believe it how this one ended.
Yeah, the train was absolutely wild at the end. Magical, did you get your fix of bullet trains today?
No, never.
Oh, you need more.
More
than that.
More bullet train. Always more. Every game, bullet train's the way I'd like it. But I want to look at this, and this is what I expected. SB, despite getting 4th place is still a good finish, and they had a lot of kills in that game.
Well, I mean, this is kind of crazy, Samari, because now we've got, obviously, Rat breaching up into top 3, but Bao, who were on, 50 points, like 2 games ago, it seemed like, have been sort of stagnant, and now down into 5th place.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because they're kind of a relatively newly formed team, did they have enough time to kind of, you know, correct all of the kind of minor mistakes that they would have had, you know, once the bans came into place? Maybe they didn't even plan for that, because maybe they didn't think the bans would affect them that, you know, that gravely. Maybe it's, you know, they've had to really divert their strategies. I'm not really sure what the kind of outcome's going to be, you know, for these next couple of games. But, you know, there's still going to be, you know, I think really healthy contention between at least like 3rd and 6th. So.
Yeah, for Bao, I think a big thing is Baroof is one of the best Oath players, but he's the best for a reason, because he only really plays Oath to that high level. And then after that is taken away, it's like, what do you have left for Bao? And it just does seem that they are starting to fall apart. But the team that I am surprised to see how they bounce back into that one is actually Rat, who win that game after losing 2 of their hunters. Their whole strategy of having this low range, in-your-face comp that they normally are so successful with, they lose 2 of those elements, yet it almost looks like it benefited them.
The rare one, you lose 2 players and somehow you're still coming out on top is a little bit wild. I think all things considered, I know a lot of people in chat going to be happy about that one, but it really has sort of blown open the top of the leaderboard. We've got four teams, I think, very similar to one another, and only 2 more matches to figure out who will end up on top. Magical, take us into this next game.
Alrighty, game 5, unstable portals. Rat, a big win in game 4, but if they want to catch up to SB, catch up to 3LP, it can't just be once. It's got to be twice, maybe 3 times, because that's how far behind in the standings they are going into the latter half of game, Samiri.
Yep, and I'm just wondering as well, like, you know, is any targeted focusing going to start coming in? I believe the players also know the scores, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, so we'll probably be able to get this. We already saw the scores and saw how that is. So it's top 3 that we're really looking at. Those are the ones that are going to play for the prize pool. But right now with SB still at 99, 3LP at 85, those are the 2 teams at the very tippity top. Bao slipping far, far down the standings, as we were just talking about. I think they're at, what, 51 points after 2 games. And now with 2 additional games, they only go up to 57. And we got a lot of teams dropping under Rotten Wraith's row.
Yeah, and they're all rapidly dispersing. I think, want to see that all the bio mobs are basically gone from Race Row. They're going to, quickly part ways, find a Sky Shark whenever possible, jump to a different biome, and hopefully reset. But at the same time, WAF is sending it quite aggressively. Sebi potentially temporarily caught out. The phase 2 chain doesn't connect, but they get the stun at the last second. Shrek actually finds who this. Really nice kill, and Sebi's the next victim. Greninja now last alive. Uh-oh.
Another team hit hard by the bans. Aurora have struggled. They struggled in game 4, and now they're struggling right out of the gates in game 5. But thankfully for them, despite that fight, WAF relents their pressure. They will allow that Carbine to escape.
Yep, and we do see Rue on the top side trying to get some farming whenever possible, so they're going to have the armors as well as an extra advantage. That's going to help things, easily, have a nice little bit of free snowballing. Rebel manages to escape at the last second. Level 6 versus level 3. This could be, even more danger here right at the last second. There's a nice little dash. Don't know if they can get away. Make their way into the rails. Can Rebel keep escaping is the question. Actually, dashes back. This could be problematic. He's probably going to be dead here right at the last second. Surely one more LMB will seal the deal. Shichi trying to get it if possible. Now on the Shrike, actually. What?
Really swapping it up and playing aggressively early game, but it's not them. It's Kane coming out of nowhere with Shies to pick up the kill, but getting sniped out of the air by Shichi. Landing those headshots, the 360 no-scopes, but now pushed into the spikes, going underneath them. But he's not done. He's staying in the fight, looking for Hachi, looking for Tom Kick, denying their respawn to get the Deathbox revive as Shichi goes backwards. Snipes again! Shichi, you can't keep getting away with this!
I can't. Oh, that was insane. I can't believe he got the bird to get the stun, which got the spike, and he managed to kept dashing back into those spike walls and not get hit by them as well. I thought, okay, he's going to take the impulse damage from the spike walls and kill himself, but he still managed to not do that and actually get the kill. That's insane. I can't believe that.
People out there, if you weren't a fan of Shichi after yesterday's performance on Bishop will 1v3 play, you better damn well be a fan of him now after that play on Shrike to eliminate Shy, denying them any hope of a late game resurgence in the Turbo Cup.
Yeah, this is gonna. Yeah, I think it's an impossible climb right now. Like, there's no way. And look, at the same time, we're looking at SB level 6s versus Gerald in the same kind of boat. Gecko's chilling in the bush here, not been found. Finally gets found. Nice little knock, an R&B knock away, and they're aggressive sending in aggressively, of course. Shin has to dagger aggressively towards Gerald. This might be
even though Shin went in. Double Bola. Look at the damage in the back line. It's aggressive, looking for Shin. He's got the static electricity built on him, but he's using the wall to his advantage. A lot of damage on the SB, trying to surge away. But look at the streets. Aggressive has taken down Shin, and now SB. They're on the run. It looks like they'd rather stop the wisp. They don't want to get caught out over the abyss.
Yeah, that was an extremely fine line for Shin to continue to, on that low HP, we've seen him do it a couple of times before where he's got maybe like 1 box of HP, but that was literally like 1 HP, man. You can't, it's a really, really fine line to cross with. And when you're playing that aggressively, trying to weave in and out of that combat, at the same time, WAF get outed by Sebi. Oh, man.
They have the godlike plays from Shichi to eliminate Shy, and then they themselves get outplayed by Aurora. WAF's hopes gone, dashed in game 5.
Oh man, that's a bummer for those guys. But Bao also level 7, so they got their level advantage. They're going to be able to pressure away rats should they need to, but they're going southwards of their own discretion. It looks like Gecko maybe looking to try and stick a hot res, but GRR are actually camping this one just temporarily. Knowing the engagement they had just before, I think they know that SV kind of want to stick a res if possible. So they are still 2 members trying to get Shin back. Looking at reses on the north side, it is looking a touch rough. At the same time, we flick over Sus. AUR, big fight here, Levithy.
Oh no, Levithy caught. Oko on the run, separated, not even nearby their teammate, and it is not looking good as Aurora, a team that has been struggling. We were just talking about how they struggled in game 4 and game 5. They looked a little weak right out of the gates, but they bounced back successfully, finding that big play against WAF, and now picking up more kills against Kwa, as it is going to be them losing 1 more player. I'm waiting for Greninja with the shock trap drones, locking them in place for an easy kill for Sebi.
Yeah, really perfectly communicated by Greninja and his teammates to just coordinate that shock trap drone to guarantee they get the kill. Because Square had maybe just a little bit enough space to maybe escape, but once that shock trap drone hits, you've just lost all that advantage that you once had. It looks like Calcio has to pop the hot wings at the last second to get away from Bao as well at the last second, which is a little bit troublesome, but they have picked up armors. Fake Strikes is a little bit low on HP, but limit temporarily split, but things are looking okay overall. MST, Cooper has to also escape as well. Aiden's popped the fuse stop, but doesn't get basically any value. Looks like Rebel had to do a similar sort of thing here, but 3LP, remember to get the kill on him unless there's a surprise spike.
Rue are nearby as well. Already a recall to make sure that Calcio's with the team, but not in time to save Mist or Revel, because now they are down a player, but back over to Prisma Falls and see Rat. We're trying to fight over control of some bosses here. Losing out a nice nuke onto Unstable Portal. And I'll see if any teams are going to actually try to utilize those right now, because there are still a lot of teams that are left to fight. And right now we're looking at Aurora staring down.
Oh my
who
God!
were separated momentarily, but that singularity absolutely destroying Aurora.
That was super duper clean, and just before that, we saw him getting stunned by Luna or rooted by Luna, and then just managed to TP onto the high ground and then pop the ulti afterwards, taking a 2-man. Super duper clean stuff there by Fate Strikes, and Calcinator now has to dodge the raging bull that is 3LP. It seems at the moment he's trying to get some poke whenever possible. With Shrooms in the back seat trying to get a bit of poke himself, respectively. Aiden's now popped the dagger defensively, and he's maybe trying to get some poke whenever possible. Looks like Acklinks is trying to get a spike onto Rebel, but hopefully he does make it over to the other island right at the last second. Maybe they even take that unstable portal. And Kuba actually sends it in quite aggressively. The Vortex Charm just narrowly misses Rebel on 1 HP. Gets killed right at the end, Magical.
Yeah, a little bit late because Calcinator had hopped into the portal and then he tried to hop back to save Revel, but now Kuba is left alone playing this Nyx, swapping it up as well, but unfortunately for them, not working out because Calcinator killed off screen. Gur as well killed off screen. So 2 more teams to join the bench.
Yeah, and the kills aren't stopping. We've seen Sevi take out Mech and Cookie's taken out Hoodis, if I'm not mistaken. So now it's another face steel chain sending. AUR on the train tracks, pretty battered and bruised. APX looking really, really healthy this time. Looks like they've assessed the game tapes and said, yeah, we made these kind of mistakes. Let's not make them again. They're slightly underleveled, but they're looking healthy in armors. They've got a couple of perks as well.
They're looking pretty decent in this game, but for Apex, it might be too late of a resurgence for them if they want to move up and take a spot in the top 3. Of course, you want to play your heart out in every single game because you never know. If you win this game and the next game, that's 20 points per game just for placement alone, and let alone the kills. So that's 40 points you can gain. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and in about 40 seconds, we are seeing the soul spawning as well. SBA just slowly reuniting while 3LP sends it very aggressively onto Debrek, and Gecko's there with the reinforcements very, very instantly. Gets hit rapidly healed up by Shroom at the last second. Gecko has to dash down. Debrek goes with the ulti. Nice little dash away to the north side by Gecko. Hopefully Debrek can escape. Aiden also in a little bit of a sticky situation now. Has to dagger back into Cookie's domain, right into his face, getting absolutely chain CC'd. Found dead very, very quickly after, and 3LP now have to look for a res.
Big pick for Rat because above them, they're looking at 3LP. They're looking at SB. Getting them eliminated early gives them hope for first place. To snag that away at the last minute with the bans, which I thought would impact them more. Seems like right now they're playing so aggressive and they're picking up their skills while SB, a team that is getting sniped out of the air by Mech Saros. It's a fight on the other side. Gecko is gone. Only 1 left for SB.
Yeah, this could be an insanely big upset. We are seeing Shin potentially taking a risk take with that orange unstable portal, so that's going to end up with him being on the north side somewhere. Yeah, we do see him. There's a crown on the right side and a broken res. If he's got the money to do that, he can stick that one as well. There's a red chest as well up for grabs potentially should he need it. Goes for the crown just for insurance to maybe notify other teams that he's picked it up and he's going to stick that one. We are seeing, I think, Rue rapidly heading over there.
But do they want to look for the fight, or do they want to look for a different team? They decided that they're going to try to flank outside of Machine and wait for the fight from SB to play into them. Well, Rat still trading blows. Aurora have been hanging on for dear life, but it's a lot of damage on a Greninja as they've been separated by the Tetraform, and now pushing in Apex, looking for the moment to strike. Rhapsody is down. No, Hoodis is down. 3LP. No, not 3L. Yeah, Aurora are the team that are now on the run. Only Sebi surviving, and now Apex pushed back. Rhapsody trying to get back to Prisma Falls, but a little bit late to defend as he's going in stasis, trying to see how long he can survive. It is enough time, though, for Apex to bring Rhapsody back.
Yeah, no one's in the circle, Magical. What's going on? Everyone's on the outskirts. This is insane to see as we look at that kind of general map overview. SB have managed to recover, though, and Debrek and Gecko have the armors in droves. 3LP, they're trying to get the soul if possible. Debrek has been knocked away at the last second. Looks like SB stealing it at the last second, so Shin is the holder of it now. And we are looking at Shin potentially being caught out. He has to dagger back at the last second. I wonder if 3LP want to continue applying pressure onto them. They've dropped the Bond as well just below them, so they are trying to establish territory now, it seems, and maybe get some buys in.
Bow again. It's sus this time around, removing Bow. They're done. I don't even think if they win the last game, but that's enough for them to get into the top 3. That's a very early exit again.
Yeah, this is gonna, this match especially, Magical, is one of those deciders. As we said, there's a couple of teams that are in contention, and quickly we found out that those teams are no longer going to be in contention. So that's a big bummer. Yeah,
but where old kings die, new ones rise, and we are seeing Rat coming in a late game resurgence, and if they can win a back-to-back game, that could be them getting atop the pile and being the new Rat Kings.
Yeah, we are looking at as well Dragon Breath rounds in around 35 seconds, so it looks like SB are already making their way down there because that's going to be extra instrumental. Fusillade popped by Aiden, and the ulti has also been popped as well by the Void, and it looks like Void is going to be, and this team is going to be able to make it away at the last second. So Levity and Square, but Aiden's temporarily splits out Oko. Yeah, he's trying some magic there to potentially onto Aiden, and Shroom is now trying to force away with a couple of LMBs, but they are going to make their way out completely. It looks like Sus are going to be okay in this situation.
They'll be fine utilizing Levity's Void every single time they need to escape, getting right over those walls. So escaping the attention from 3LP for now, but they're actually sticking it. They're ready to fight any team. Granted, you have to if you want to win.
Yep, we are seeing AWOL kind of farming on the outskirts, just lurking around, potentially just trying to assess the situation. As we flicker back onto the top right-hand side, looks like 3LP and Sus again with round number 2. Looks like Acklinks has sent a very aggressive dash in, now split up Oko and the rest of the members, Levity and Square, just temporarily. I think Oko is now maybe just looking for an opportunity to escape again, goes through the bushes, and Acklinks is there with a very, very rapid chase. Hopefully he doesn't get spiked, does manage to make it out, but now he's in APX's domain. Hopefully he can make it away from there now, has to go down to the south side. And I think Dragon Breath rounds is probably going to be definitely given to SB as we see Fusillade pop by Aiden as well at the last second. So Levity has to keep continuously using their mountain dashes whenever possible to try and provide a little bit of pressure as them only being 2-man.
Looking down south, Aurora chased away by Rat, holding on to the southern part of Underrot. But as teams are starting to get pushed into Underrot out of any other biome, it is going to be the fight inside this clam domain and figure out who's going to be the one coming out on top. Because right now, SB, as you were talking about, they've got a lot going their way. They've been able to pick up some of these perks, and they're looking for the fight against Aurora, already having beaten them earlier in this game. Trying to replicate that, but a nice E-plat from Shin, giving him some time, waiting for Aurora to play aggressively towards him. Even with the root, though, gotta be careful. Shin's been taken down. Aurora find their moment as up in the air. Gecko is gone. Deathbreath did turn it around onto Greninja, but the only one left, an immediate Deathbox revive attempted. But now it's gonna be 3 little pigs pushing back another root onto Acklinks, but still, it is Aurora, the team that is now scattered away by 3LP.
Yep, and I think if Deathbreak tries to go for the portal, he's going to be basically in Sus's domain, so I don't think he can really stick that one, so he's maybe got to look for some different opportunities maybe as to who this is potentially getting caught out. 3LP and continue to apply pressure onto who this, the actual, full LMB gets the proc, and who this is actually downed. So it is just Sebi last alive now. Maybe looking to get the train res, maybe he can be successful in this scenario.
I think he has enough time to be able to get this. Only 6 seconds on those respawns, pretty quick. But they have to immediately book it into the storm. They've got the team back up. But broken armor, it's going to be a tough fight through Underrot.
Yep, and we do see Deathbreath, he's lurking around. You see that crown on that shop on the top side, he's definitely eyeing that one up, and I think there is an ample opportunity to get it. We do see all the other teams kind of centralized towards the bottom kind of portion of the circle. APX, I think there's Otto, maybe it saw some audio markers or something along those lines. The way he's posturing, who this in a similar situation, Deathbreath's now been forced away, and then APX looking to chase this one out, potentially possible. Now they avert their eyes to who this. He actually finds a stun, surprisingly, gets 2 members, but I don't think they can really capitalize on this one. Maybe I spoke too soon, in fact. It looks like a big sending by Lizardo, trying to get something with the Fusillade pop. Unfortunately, Greninja gets the kill by Pera. Sends a note onto who this. 1 HP. Who's the anomaly? The crown pick up.
Punch. Sebi's taken low. Vipero and Apex fight back successfully against them, but Vipero is so low, and Greninja hopes to make sure they can take down the Zeph, but Vipero is doing so much to try to get away. Deathbreath with the angle. He pushed them off the wisp. He's brought back SB.
That is super duper nice, man. Like, he just found the ample opportunity to just get the third and just reset the team completely. They've even picked up some armors, so they're really, really healthy again. Rhapsody's likely to be chased now, the last member of APX, but the dagger unfortunately scuffs for Shin, so he's going to be backtracked all the way again, so he's going to make a long walk over. Looks like Ninja's also last alive as well. He manages to make it out just with a sliver of HP. He's getting poked from every direction, though. We're seeing Rat. They've been in over a couple of different biomes, and now finally ended up here. Looking really, really healthy with armors as well, respectively. It may be slightly under-leveled if I'm not mistaken, but there's definitely, big contenders potentially.
But the big ones I'm looking at, SB, that great crown has brought back the team, and Rhapsody hoping to do the same, but Amorius did not give him that opportunity, pushing away Gecko, but the chase to make sure there's no crazy play for Apex. Well, Sus a little bit late on the call. Shroom wearing his own crown, 40 seconds, 3LP they need a miracle, because if they lose now, if they get knocked out, 6th place, that could be it. 1st place secured by SB.
Yeah, but we know that Shrew has been ever evasive. We've seen it so many times in like past tournaments and scrims and things of that nature. 25 seconds is not even that long left. It might be one of the scenarios, Magical, where it's like 1 second left and he might die. I got a feeling. Something in my gut is telling me that that's going to be the case. At the same time, looking at Greninja getting absolutely chunked by Gecko and the rest of the members of SB. Shin actually finding the last kill onto AUR, taking him out with a nice little singularity, but this actually killed Levity. Wow.
Oh, and Shroom has gotten enough. So much other fighting has given a moment for 3LP. That crown, it will work, but right away, they gotta fight their way out of this one. It's a good Vortex Charm starting, getting damage onto Gecko, forcing him back into the jet stream. But as SB kite back, they look at Rat, who are to the north, and Rat can snipe them out of the air. That's why they put some land beneath their feet with the emergency penguin, but a Tetra form trying to cut off the retreat. Lots of damage on a Gecko again. Thunderstorm over the lasers. SB somehow surviving through so many teams assailing their position. Rue, the next one, looking to see if they can punish SB. Mega Avalanche pushing SB into the Forge.
Yeah, and SB, they're just scurrying to find a safe position. Looks like Sus also got the reserve for the last second. If Levity can get a massive ulti, this could change everything. Deadbreaker's with a mega monstrous punch. Nice little air blast at the last second, but it doesn't provide enough survivability. Still found dead, so it is Oko now actually has to TP through to get over to the other side. Square also makes it out as well, but you know, if Rue were looking to the north side, it could have spelled really big danger for SB, but they managed to find that pocket of space. Really, really nice escape.
And Oko with only a broken tier 2 armor. Not really good placement. Shin's already found him. You already used your illusion. You're in the storm and an easy target. But up north, 3LP have to deal with Rue, who've already been able to take down Shroom. Sus die off screen. Rue have to get back because Fate Strikes is a little bit too low in SB. They've decided to intervene. Third party, make it a fourth party because Rat are here as well. Rue do swap themselves out of the battle, leaving SB and Rat to trade blow for blow. But do they want to start off the fight? It is going to be Rue eliminated off screen by 3LP. Rat still trying to see if they can chip at the health bar. Shin, he's gotten to the ledge, stays away from Rat. Rat now in the center of the circle. Got to be careful that they don't get third party themselves.
Yeah, this is a really sticky situation now. You know, the fight's gone too long. They couldn't really actually guarantee a kill, so Rat now have to jump ship over the wall, which is a really nice little play, nice little bit of maneuverability that we're seeing from Rat. But of course, with the portal plays from Meki, you can still get that you know, obtuse poke him whenever possible onto any team member that's you know, on the other side of a wall. So you know, he can just keep playing range forever. Of course, with the lasers as reinforcements, makes things a little bit easier. Shroom also in a little bit of a sticky predicament. Already used one dash, has to go all the way across now. Deathbreak sends it in, gets the kill onto Shroom. It's a 3v2 again, Magical.
But still, 3LP try to see if they can snipe that Barrack out of the air, and they get a little bit of help. Rat show up, take out Shin. Next is Death Barrack pushed over the ledge again. He's already used Blast Up, easy target. It is just a sniper's galore here for Meki Mech, getting rid of Death Barrack. And even if you go up in the air with a thunderstorm, where you gonna go, Gecko? Long time, no health, dash away towards the machine, but they're hot on pursuit. They've gotten rid of him, and Rat, they're looking for their second in a row. They're looking for the miracle in the second half, as it is going to be the push all the way around, but that storm quickly pushing you back into the circle, Accolades.
Yeah, and he's he's trying to find any goodies whenever possible. Maybe has to take a bit of damage, but Meki's just waiting with open arms, and the avalanche comes in a bit of snow on slow violence with the chilling finale pop, but the rocks are also popped. The ulti by Cookies. The final couple of LMBs come in, and Rat are the winners of game number 5.
Back-to-back victories for Rat. What a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, crazy work for them as well. Even, like, sniping some kills away in that final fight as well on players they hadn't even dealt the majority of damage on. Just getting it all to win 2 in a row. I mean, magical. This is just going to catapult. We had the same top 3 in our standings in the top 3 here, but Rat now with all the kills and finishing first twice in a row are serious contenders for the top spot.
And this is after a very disappointing first 3 games for them. This is quite the comeback for them, and it feels like maybe they were holding themselves back with the old comp, that this is really what we need to see out of them, because they have such aggression they can still utilize, but just now a little bit safer because they can stay so far away. Oh man, seeing this from Shichi. I feel bad that they got eliminated 11.
I mean, yeah, a little bit shocking to see it go down this early, Samari, especially because, like, again, that gap is just continuing to extend, and early knockouts at this stage in the tournament kind of take out a lot of your chances.
Yeah, and I think their gusto's just completely gone now, especially after that game, and the way it kind of ended makes things really bad. And as we're looking at these highlights, Fate Strikes with this massive singularity pop onto AUR. Oh, it was so clean to see, man. I just love watching that one again.
we can just keep running it back and continue working through this game, which has continued to deliver. We only have one more after this, so Magical is 3LP. Do we think they push themselves up to the top with their good work here in the mid game?
It might still be tough. SB had a lot of kills in this game too, so it's not like SB were just kind of being quiet throughout the game and letting 3LP catch up to them. They had a 14-point lead going into game 5. So now, with a win for Rat, not for 3LP, I think SB still should be at the very top of the standings. But Rat, 3LP, they are going to close that gap. I think the biggest one is Rat, because that's 2 in a row after, like I said, very disappointing first 3 games for them. And they are looking for the miracle run, because they have to win 2 games already. They've done it. 3 games is really where they have to get that magic number if they want to actually be the #1 team of Turbo Cup.
Yeah, get 3 wins in a row. Hope that SB and 3LP get knocked relatively early without finding a few kills as well. There's even the moment in this game where it looked like SB were going to go down much earlier, but were able to keep themselves afloat with the crown and not be in too bad of a position. But that, of course, comes much later into this game after all the scrappiness in the mid-game, Samari.
Yeah, exactly. And we've built up so much tension, of course, with 3LP, as we saw that crown res just in the
Sorry,
replays.
it was the 3LP crown, yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, it was just endless. So many times that happened, similar sort of a situation has happened, and they somehow 3LP managed to make it out, but Mekimek with the poke, just constantly getting infinite value. It felt like at every angle, it felt like he was always getting snipes on and just tenderizing any enemy opponent in front of him, basically.
I've been saying for a while that more teams need to pick up Saurus. Sprokane proved it, Golroy and NA has proved it, Pine has proved it, and we're seeing Mekimek continue to prove it. If you're good at Saurus, it is so disgusting what you can do. The range you have, the damage you get. Once you're ionized, it is nearly impossible to do anything to him, especially if you're really good at landing those shots.
Yeah, I mean, even in that last fight, getting some last hits on players trying to scramble away. Although, as you look at the standings, even with 2 back-to-back wins, Rat is still down more than 20 points behind SB. They're still in prize pool territory. Top 3 guarantees you a cut of the 2,500, but it really looks like it's more between SB and 3LP at this point, Magical.
It does. This is what I expected. I expected that SB, it's a 3rd place finish. It's not like they did terrible in that game. So they still stay 12 points ahead 3LP. 3LP are ahead 11 points to that of Rat, but big for Rat. A team that was well far behind the pack for a long time. And as you kind of talked about, Ender, it now comes down for Rat whether or not SB and 3LP get eliminated early, because that is what they have to have happen. If they don't, they do not get the #1 prize. They don't even have a hope, even if they win this game. They're not going to be the #1 team, but SP, 3LP, those 2 are really in contention for 1st place. 1
game remains in our day today, and, well, honestly, it looks like our top 3 are pretty locked in. Barring Rat dropping very early on, like incredibly early, it is looking like we're fighting for who's going to be #1, 2, and 3. So, Magical, let's jump into our final match here and see exactly who's coming away with this $2,500.
And it's always great to start off, well, to end off in cross country, because now teams, they're going to have to move with the storm and have to make sure that they're also fighting along the way. And looking at this first circle, first drop, and first gold's Dawn Caps, where the gold is. But looking at our early souls, Wraith's Row and Hollows, the drop will be right over from Shards of Fate and Dawn Caps down to Underwrought and Wraith's Row.
Yep, all the POIs are, basically available from this drop line that are, that we can see in the map, apart from Coldfang, of course. And how is it? 3 or 4 teams on 9 acres straight off the bat, Magical. This is going to be something. And look at Shy, they've actually completely flipped up the comp as well. We're looking at Nyx on Tom and Sprokane on Illuna as well.
Hey, they know that they are out of contention for the top 3. They're playing for fun now. They're going to show off some mechanics, some different styles for themselves as they hot dropped with Bao. Another team, they were doing so well at the beginning, but they have fallen from grace. And even with a miracle, if they win this game, I don't know if it's enough to get them top 3, but they'll fight tooth and nail regardless.
Yeah, and I like that there's a little bit of experimentation from the teams that probably won't make it because, of course, there's going to be tournaments in the future. At the same time, it looks like Bruce, 1 HP, manages to escape with a slither HP.
No.
Looks like there might be another catch out here, potentially. Bao really want to do something if they can, if possible. Looks like they've managed to stabilize with a slither of HP right at the last second, but there's a little bit of chase. I think Shrek has to re-avert his eyes now. Shy looking to apply pressure from the bottom hand side. Nice little hook in by Tom. Gets a couple of LMBs, gets a nice little spin at the last second. Phantom's already down.
Phantom is down, but Chi-Chi and Shrek are alive. Waff aren't out of this game just yet, but Shy will continue to hunt regardless. They have the train if they want to hop on, get some of the loot from there. Will let Waff escape.
Yep, and who is it in this scenario? It's Rue. Again, they had the same armor strategy a couple of games ago. They're doing the same thing again. Looks like they probably already picked all of them up, so that's a nice little boon to have straight away again in the early game, as we said before. We're looking at Shuchi again on the strike again. Hopefully they can last a bit longer than last time. I'm hoping for another triple kill. That'd be really, really nice to see, but there might be another catch out here, Magical, already, as the face-jump chain connects, and MST are looking to continuously circle around, but somehow he's still surviving. Shrek finally dies to Kuba.
Finally falls. Took a long time, but does fall. And now Shy deal with Mist. A lot of this is for glory and for reputation for these teams. They at least would like to take a win here in the Turbo Cup. A nice snipe by Hachi. Mist 200 on the run as they have already lost Revel. Kuba and Kalskinator, they could go back to the heart, and I already saw Kalsk was going for that angle, but back in Mage Bog, see a couple of teams trying to fight with one another. Aurora dealing with Rat, and Rat, they have to win this game. If they win a third in a row, that could be them clinching and stealing away first place. A nice snipe on the way out with those Sky Sharks.
Yeah, that was super, I think, unexpected, it felt like, from AUR. And now, the playing field's basically been leveled. I wonder if Mecha is actually going to go in and try and get some Pokemon possible. But they are still on the ledge, so you can't really utilize that range. Looks like Hachi or someone has already died amidst the chaos. So Shy trying to get that res back. So Sprokane on the train, as we just saw. Phantom, trying to dash down. Renat with his team. It looks like he might spill a bit of trouble. A res at the last second or a back. And it looks like Sprokane might be the next victim here, potentially, as the LMBs keep coming out here. 1 HP, manages to escape. Hopefully he can escape. Wow, does it.
Slippery Bunny, hard to catch up to her when she dashes out of there. That lunar dash can get such range away. But because there's so much chaos here in Ion Acres, Waff, Shy, Mist, none of them have really left this outside of getting a respawn beacon from Train or maybe the Heart, then going back to the fortress, trying to fight with one another. Here's Brocane. He this time will be chased far, far away from their safety that they had before. That early aggressive drop from these teams. Finally, teams are going to have to relent.
Yep, and just looking at the general overview of the map, the zone is putting to the north-hand side, so all the teams are going to have to migrate basically up to the north side. We are seeing another kill pickup and a couple of backs coming in. Cal's sending it in quite aggressively against Bao, just recovered not too long ago. Slightly into level 6s versus level 7 on Kalsk at the very least. Probably starts ulti. Same with Rebel in this scenario, so hopefully, they can actually maybe win this fight or jump ship. It looks like they're actually choosing to jump ship. Rebels temporarily split from the other members of the team. Maybe it's a Guardian farm instead for Bao. Instead, right at the last second, we do see a spike from the Guardian, but Revel can hopefully do some magic there. Take the Sky Shark and jump ship completely.
But as Waff were on the chase looking for Sprokane, they run into a new opponent. This time Hudis, and they're losing out to Aurora, finding 2 more kills off Waff.
Yep, and we are seeing a soul potentially spawning in about 55 seconds. So, typically we see teams converge in there if it's a good enough soul that warrants that in that scenario, and maybe they have a bonfire or some extra territorial control. At the same time, we're looking at Sus and AUR. AUR do have the level 7s. Square still level 6, and Oko. So it looks like a very aggressive in-jump Rebel. Maybe looking for some free pickings. Pops the Fuse Lord. That's the dagger back at the last second. Greninja finds Levity. Square 1 HP. Hopefully he can escape.
Trying to surge into Jetstream, but Chain's barely missing for Sebi. But with low health, Waff, first team eliminated. Shy, they were mad about Waff eliminating them first in Game 5. This time they take Waff out first, and now a continued fight between Sus and Aurora. Levity, a target pretty easy on Void early on into the game.
And it feels like AUR, they're grabbing quite a decent amount of kills already. They're at like 4-5 in the early game. That's really, really nice. Compared to like SB, for example, they're 0, but they got the nice levels already. No armor advantage typically over Rats, but of course these are like 2 of the big contending teams potentially. Already having a little mini face-off while the Abyssal Hatchling potentially griefs Adamok. That's a turnaround at the last second. We are seeing Shin with the Amphibian also slowly circling around. Defensive dagger already popped, trying to get some poke onto Meki. The dash actually scuffs. He's only less than half HP. Had to pop his 50% skill already. And now there's a nice little dunk by Adamok, taking down Deathbreak. Hudis finds everything at the same time. There's a little bit of snipage coming out. A dash down to the bottom left-hand side by Gecko. Is he going to survive in this scenario? The portal play, he gets the snipe!
Only Shin has made it out. Shiv has to get that respawn. There is one right outside of Mage Bog they can utilize. But looking at our other team's Battle in the Storm, Heart Revive to bring back up Ashe. But for a team like Stormbreakers, we talked about it before, an early exit in this game is hope for 3LP and Rat to take first place.
And it seems like on every single quarter of this kind of circle, there's like a bunch of teams really, really clumped together. So I reckon, there's going to be like 2 or 3 team fights happening very, very shortly. Seeing a little anomaly play to try and escape, but there's going to be so much gatekeeping here by 3LP as they're trying to get that nice little free kill right at the last second. But I think, Ashe is holding on right until the very end, really trying to deny whenever possible, waste time for 3LP. At the same time, we flick up on the top side. Looks like Shy have come back as a full 3-man. Still slightly under-leveled. Got one level 7, and Armor's not looking too healthy, but still in the game.
Still in the game. They got rid of Waff. Kind of feels like Waff is their arch nemesis in this Turbo Cup, because after Game 5 early exit, destroying their hopes for winning, at least they have some pride. They can say, hey, we got rid of Waff first. We're not the first team eliminated, while we're looking at other teams that are going to maybe soon join them. SB did manage their respawn inside of Mage Bog.
Yeah, we did see MST with the Sky Shot rotation. The Vortex Chop just narrowly misses by Vipero, but one is still chilling in the bush, not revealed themselves just yet, so they're going to be okay. And I think with the back there on that Jhin, they can probably make their way into zone unless the Jewel gets caught out. They're finally caught out, has to pop the ulti, uses the high ground to kind of jump over at the last second, which is a nice little bit of cool tech, and has to dash up to the north side, hopefully make his way out if possible. Looks like it's going to be successful. Rhapsody tries a little bit of squid play, but it's unsuccessful. And we are seeing so many teams converge now. Godefroy taking on Sebi. Mekimek taking on Shin already. SB are now 2-man again.
2-man again, and this time it's Shin. They're the evasive Shiv, who's actually been taken out, while we look at Revel losing to Tom Kick and Shy flanking, but see those whiffs hopping around. Hachi is gone. Revel is trying to see if they can bring him back up, but every single time, Tom steals away the whiffs, and then Sprokane picking up their own, making sure Hachi will be back in the battle, try to reap onto Miss, and then onto the tracks. They jump away through the jet stream, but can they get Kuba, who's back to land? It's getting difficult for Hachi. He's getting some damage, but he's not playing his usual Bishop this time around. He has swapped over to Shiv.
I really like that rotation there with Sprokane just picking up Hachi at like 1 second, pop the ulti on top to kind of get the res up faster, and then Tom just managed to delay for about like 8 seconds or something along those lines, circled back out, and they they completely made it out. All members alive. Wow.
On 3LP, wow. Finding SB the perfect target.
Oh my God.
The team they want to eliminate, and they've already gotten rid of Gecko again.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, with the anon mode on, you can still sometimes tell team comps, that certain people play certain, specific characters, and if it's a certain 3 characters, it's going to be that specific team. Meanwhile, it looks like Kuba has to jump ship at the last second. There's a little bit of pressure being applied from 3LP. They have dominion basically over that whole massive island now. It looks like Orlando's also takes down Sprokane as well. We're seeing some Skyshock play, maybe to continue this chase as well onto the other 2 members. Hopefully they can make it out this one.
Well, let's see. Hachi trying to get the bullet to land, and that Sky Shark about to blow, but Hachi's going to be the target, using stasis to try to survive. Well, Tom Kick, the sub-4 Shy, is now going to be the last hope for them to remain in Game 6. The last one of Turbo Cup, our very first Turbo Cup we've ever had.
Yep, and we are seeing Kalsk with the crown pick up 30 seconds or less, and temporarily splitting, so Kuba's just on the north side, applying a bit of poke, so, there's less pressure on Kalsk potentially. Always got to play that kind of sacrificial lamb to make sure the crown pops, because obviously, if it does pop, you're going to become back alive again anyway. It's always worth it. Cookie's shooting on the left-hand side, maybe looking to get some instrumental poke to kind of, really, really screw up APX here. Might be the scenario. The dagger's already been used. This might be an opportune open window now, as the ulti's already popped. 1 HP manages to escape with a slither, but Lizardo is getting mega damage. Cookie's already downed.
Cookie's trapped himself in with that Tetraform, and now Rat on the run, and it is looking dire for them because they need to win this game. Pick up 3 in a row if they want even a hope of stealing away first from SB. But SB, every time we look at them in this game, they are struggling, losing Gecko, losing players, but they're still remaining strong. They're not out of this game just yet.
Yep, and Phasestrex has already used this ulti as well. Revel's just popped the fuse slot, basically got no value, so it's kind of 2 ults down on either side. They can't really do the combo anymore. Maybe they could with of course, Calcio with the Celeste combo with the TP.
Rat are gone!
Rats, no way!
Oh no, the tragedy for
my
Rat
God.
as they get eliminated so early in the final game and nearly having the victory lap. They almost had the victory 2 in a row in the final games, but then an early exit in Game 6. will deny them stealing first place or even second place.
Yeah, and Shin's just going absolute warrior mode. Gets a pickup right at the last second. A nice little knockaway, so Shin's potentially in a really, really bad situation. Looks like GRR probably looking to square this one out. And SB, oh, nice little dash escape at the last second. Fortunately, SB are also outed.
3LP, this is your time. You've got to win this game. You've got both Wrath, the team that was behind you, and now the team that was ahead of you out in this game, and they take out Hachi, looking to add to their kill total. The more they can gain, the more points. They were down 12 points behind that of Stormbreakers going into our final game.
Yeah, we are seeing Fate Strikes with the rewind as well, so that could be extra instrumental for some potential kills. We're seeing a nice little play by Vipera, getting a decent chunk of damage here right at the last second onto MST, if I'm not mistaken. Vipera has to take the wind tunnel right at the last second, but Bauer there looking to get some free kills. Rhapsody might be the next victim, already found dead, so it's just Vipera last alive now. Dashes down to the south side, can hopefully make it out, but it's getting absolutely chunked. Unfortunately found dead. Shroom also finds Sprocane as well, so Shire outed just afterwards.
2 more teams down. 5 more to go to find out who will be our winner. Only one can win of these top 6 teams, and for 3LP, a victory here guarantees they are our first winners for EU Turbo Cup.
Oh, I cannot believe the SB out, because we know the SB, they had like 2 alive, 1 alive, 2 alive. It felt like that constantly for the like this whole mid game, and then finally, you know, Shin, I did see Shin get a kill on the kill for us, thinking, okay, maybe things are on the up, and I'm surprised to get outed like that. That's just insane. Like there was a little slither of space where Shin could have maybe escaped, but you know, GRR had the Sky Shock and just ran into him basically. Oh,
we're seeing more kills added to the total. Shroom finds Orlando's. So having a good amount of fights that are happening elsewhere, but staring at Rue, one of our teams that was looking really good through the qualifiers, but now struggling in Turbo Cup. But there's a lot of pride in winning the very last game. Even if you don't have a chance at the prize itself, at least you can have bragging rights.
Yep, and the nuke's already been dropped, but it's not actually on the bonfire, so they still managed to maintain it for that next circle when it actually slowly pulls in. Square is actually playing quite aggressively, you know, taking over the dominion of the ice just temporarily against Rue. But of course, the person who throws out the penguin will actually do damage to the enemies, you know, a touch. So they're going to be a little bit careful of that. So there's going to be a big wide rotation by about, you know, all these remaining teams, 6 teams it is. In this case, it looks like 3LP, maybe, I think they maybe already picked up the blink. I'm not too sure. We are seeing a wide rotation by Bao as well. I think they are only 2 members, surprisingly. They only got the Celeste and Bishop, so they may be looking to go for that crown at the same time. So I'm hoping that they can actually pick it up and make their way into that new circle.
And I'm looking at teams. Cross Country will drag us out of Magebog and towards the Hollows. I'm looking at our teams that remain. Some of the teams that have been much lower in the bracket so far. Sus, Gur, they've been struggling throughout the day, but top 6 finish not going to be too bad for them. Bao, a team that had been dominating in the early stretches of the tournament, now having fallen so far away. I don't know if they even have a chance at making sure they get top 3, but at least they can try to take a game, but it's going to be difficult because they have to deal with 3LP helping to sandwich them between them and Mist. Getting damage on Bao as Gur now jumping into the fight as well, finding the flank on to Mist, pushing him back with the gold armor, trying their best to heal back up as they look for a re-engage. A lot of damage has been dealt to Mist, who jumped over the ledges trying to get away. Dunk from Calcinator, making it even 1-for-1. Kuba in Wisp form. Acklinks debating whether he wants to engage. It's going to be the snipe from Gur, taking down one more. Only Calcinators left, but 3LP, they find their own snipe, leaving Wixen, the new player for Gur, to try to see if he can out-hover the teams, but he is surrounded. Even with the jet stream, he hops on an E-plat that is about to give way beneath his feet.
Yep, and it looks like Bao actually sticking the res on the bottom right side. Wixen, as he mentioned, is trying to find some sort of pocket to escape. Actually playing the edge of the circle right at the last second. Maybe he finds Kaos because they're both 2 stragglers in this scenario. So need to see if there's any crowns as well on the minimap, because obviously these 2 stragglers are going to be looking for that whenever possible. We do see one in that new circle as it pulls to the left. 3LP, probably have myriads of advantage in probably every aspect. Armors, econ, they can probably just do anything that they need to. It looks like Kaos picked up a crown as well, 1 minute 15, and he's getting pulled in every direction by Rue, but now Rue getting caught up by 3LP potentially, applying a lot of pressure as the ulti with the wings comes out by Calcio. Has to cancel it, let it fizzle at the last second. Calcio jumps up to the north side, and I think things are maybe going to calm down just for a split second.
As there's still some fights happening elsewhere, Sus attempting to escape from the clutches of Bao right as Kwaye gets a revive. Oko had died, so it's perfect timing to stay with the team. But it's still looking difficult. No team has fallen in our top 6 for quite some time, but something's got to give with the cross country. Looking at our teams and their movements. Gur, I saw they had a Wixen that could look for a respawn beacon, but we were being taken back into Magebog, and Calskinator tried to get away. Sus take the spot. That swap almost held down Calskinator, but he didn't have Volcanic Rebuke, so first team missed 200 out of the top 6. 5 teams remaining. Only one can win. 4 will die.
Yeah, and we do see GRR on the far right side of the map. They also stuck a res. They're rapidly trying to make their way into the circle. 3LP, just playing whatever they can, wherever they want to. They're on the lower ground just temporarily against SUS, and SUS are extremely underleveled if you compare it to the kind of average of these other teams. Also, it's a similar kind of situation for GRR. Is Bao looking to apply so much pressure. It looks like an ulti's popped at the last second by Wixen to allow Aggressive to get a bit more poking before he probably dies. Yep, succumbs to Baru's ulti there right at the last second, and the chase is just never ending there. Ash with a massive big dash. He's 4 red perked up as well. Really, really strong. And Wixen is finally found dead. Godefroy with the amphibian pickup manages to stealth and stay alive a bit longer.
But now 3LP, they enter the fray, forcing Ash to try to skate away from the battle. Bao look to regroup in Magebog, but it is difficult to get out of there. That's why they put down the jump pad. But all that time is given Gert time on the respawn beacon. They get the respawn off, but can they escape from the clutches of 3LP? Down south is Rue. They too have that amphibian, and they're waiting for Gur to go into their territory.
Yeah, we do see the zone on the going to the left for the next circle. We see a crowd on the right hand side, so if there's any stragglers, of course, that might be an opportune time to pick up. And 3LP, it's really crazy to see how measured they are now. They noticed the last game. They know there's a really incredibly weak team here, compared, the armor economy. And actually, they do go in right in the last second. Wixen on super low HP. Shroom nearly gets the smite for the kill, but, Wixen actually returns the pressure with his own ulti. Manages to survive for a split second longer. We do see Fusio take down Wixen aggressive. Another one, a victim. 1 member left now.
Brewer about to get sandwiched into the vortex. Showing the prediction, locking him in, but now with Singularity, 3LP, they try to see if they can snatch that away. They do, they get the kill, and now they fight back. Chilling Finale put on Baroof, try to push him away with the frozen barricade, but it's not enough time. They brought back Baroof, but Baroof immediately put back into the wisp, and then it's going to be Ash who has to lose their life to 3LP, collecting kill after kill. They are on track to take first place away.
Yeah, we do see Fusio sticking that rest at the last second, so he gets all of his teammates back up. Face Strikes has still managed to keep the rewind as well. We do see the Sus on the south side as well. We're seeing that Jin trying to make his way into that next circle. Orko, of course. And we are looking at GRR with just a Shiv left as well. So that's Godefroy. Wanandis is now sticking the res as well, respectively. Picked up a crown. Buzu now finds him out. Just a mega amount of damage. It's already gets the battle gun connection too. Tries to go over the mountain. Can he make it over? Goes into 3LP. Aiden gets the kill. And it's just Buzu now potentially getting caught out on 1 HP himself. Shroom sends a couple of LMBs and surely he's going to get this kill. It is just Face Strikes now. Last alive again.
Every team that falls is better and better for 3LP, but I saw the kills they had before even those kills they picked up. They were at 13, remember. It was a 12-point deficit going into the final game. I think that's enough with the placement points. 3LP, even if they lose this one, it doesn't matter. They're going to be your champions of Turbo Cup history.
Yeah, and I can't believe this, Reina. They're playing really, really smart still. I'm just loving this kind of held temperament because as we've seen so many times before, they are typically a super aggressive team. They do need to get this kill to Godefroy before it takes too long. Hopefully Shroom does get that nice little snipe at the end. So they got the ulti resets. And now, as you mentioned, yeah, they are definitely very, very likely to be the winners. I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed, right? With the kills they've got, it's what, 16, right?
It's only appropriate, though, not just to win Turbo Cup, but to win the final game of Turbo Cup. Our very first one, Fate Strikes has picked up a crown. There is going to be a little bit more fighting to be had as they try to swap over the abyss, but it's a nice snapback. Try to get away from that one. Be Kind Rewind did great things, and still with the swap, try to stay behind Calcio, who's put down the Chilling Finale, but Aiden snipes him out of the air. Congratulations, 3LP. You've made history as the first team to win Turbo Cup.
Let's go.
Perfect way to close it out. You absolutely love to see it. In a day that just kept delivering, I think 3LP continued to string together a lot of these finishes towards the top out of the standings, but the last couple of games, it was stolen away by the Rats. This time, with the Rats and SB out of the equation, they rise all the way up to the top themselves to take the inaugural Turbo Cup here in Europe. Magical. This is just an awesome moment for the team.
It is, and knowing these players, a lot of them have deep history in SUPERVIVE. Aiden, probably one of our longest standing players that can play just any competitive game. He plays in NA, he plays in EU, he does not care. He'll play whatever he can when it comes to SUPERVIVE. And him getting the first win, it's only too appropriate.
It's just so good. And of course, this means that first place. 3LP would be taking away the lion's share of our $2,500 prize pool. That'll be $1,350 to the top dogs, with SB and Rat presumably behind them. But we will check out the leaderboards a little bit later after we keep walking through. So why don't, Samari, you take us through this game, what you're seeing?
Yeah, we just saw it in a couple of replays ago, that SB play where, they lost Gecko. It was just, I believe, Shin last alive. He managed to survive for a decent amount of time afterwards, but yeah, their outing was really, really big surprise this game, this early. I think there's about, 10 squads left. If you can look on the bottom left-hand side, we're looking at this replay when Shin's about to die to GRR. There we go, right at the end. And, I really, really liked, as I mentioned before, during the cast, 3OP just, typically are a very, very aggressive team, but they really maintained a more slow cadence, more methodical cadence to really guarantee the victory, make sure it was a clean outing. As Magical said, they want to make sure that the last game they actually win it too, right?
And they end up going all the way here. This is a bit of a wild one, with a very different top 6, top 7 compared to what we've been seeing Magical. So I think, while 3LP end up taking it, you still have teams like Gur and Sus and Bao even making it back a little bit deeper towards the top.
But unfortunately for them, it's way, way too late. It's not the 8-game series that we sometimes have for SUPERVIVE. It's only the 6 games. And for Bao, tragically, games 4 and 5 were a bit of a miss for them. Even game 3 wasn't their best performance, and we saw how they slipped down the standings further and further and further. So if they had this kind of performance in the last 3 games, it would matter. It would be important, but unfortunately for them, it was too little too late.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to have the consistency to consistently be able to find your way towards the top. That's why a team like Rat, even though they had those 2 wins back-to-back, a slower start, couldn't get it done. Although Samari, 3LP, consistent throughout the day. This squad always up there in the finish.
Yeah, and it's one potentially interesting thing that you might see in the future. As the meta continues to evolve in this type of game, you're going to see potentially, let's say Zeph becomes the flavor of the month, and then he gets banned. Shroom, we've seen him on the Shiv before. He was actually a really insanely good mechanical Shiv player, but if Zeph or Shiv get banned, what can 3LP do? They've been pretty okay with these bans. As Magical mentioned, there's a big, massive amount of versatility that these players have. But, there are some key characters that can be removed that make things problematic for them.
And here you have it, the final leaderboard coming in. 3LP jumping ahead with 145 points to take first place here in the inaugural Turbo Cup. SB in second will take home $750 rather, and Rat will take $400 for themselves in third place to close it out. But Magical, it is 3LP in first.
Congratulations to them. Well deserved. I think only the one hiccup in the very first game where it was a outside of top 6 finish for them, but after that, they turned it up. They were ready to battle. They picked up wins for themselves, and for SB's sake, they had that opportunity. They had that one game that they could finish poorly in, but unfortunately, it was too late into it, and with how close it was at the top, they needed a good finish to deny 3LP snatching away first place from them, but still, congratulations to 3LP, Stormbreakers, and Ratatata for picking up wins, making sure they're in the top 3, getting a part of the prize pool.
Yeah, doing some great work there after Bao and WAF for the 2 squads that, took first in their groups in the qualifiers to get there. They actually don't punch in to the top 3 at the end. Samari, this 3LP squad, do we see them maintaining this level of performance in tournaments to come?
The thing is that their team is if they have a good day, they're playing it on full form. Everything, the micro is all perfect. But there's some days where you see them, some things are just a little bit off, and everything seems to crumble sometimes. Even though they still have it a decent, they'll place maybe 6th or 5th, but they won't be anywhere near close to first. But today was their on day, and they really, really had it.
You love to see them on an on-die. And it's EU SUPERVIVE. You never know who's going to be on top. You never truly know what to suspect. And I can let you in on a little secret. We could even expect to see you, the viewer, playing in a tournament just like this one next week. Saturday night SUPERVIVE is going to continue, and you're going to be able to sign up. There should be links in chat. Anyone can sign up. Any teams can go ahead and join. The prize pool is going to be $500, and we are going to be returning to squads as the format for that one. So a little bit different. That'll be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, 4 players per team. So back to what we had SUPERVIVE as last year. So it'll be a lot of fun to test out some new styles, some new tournaments. Make sure you're getting those signups. I'm pretty sure they've been posted in the chat. Anyone can join. It's for EU, though. Keep that in mind. This is an EU tournament that we're starting off with squads.
Yes, but if you are excited for NA, we've got some more of that coming up later today as well with the Turbo Cup continuing. So we are going to step away for a moment, let 3LP enjoy their victory. We'll sign off for now and see you a little bit later today for some more SUPERVIVE.
Second, Morris is also pummeling them away, and the lasers are coming out from the boss too. They've got to be really, really careful and try and circle around this one and not take too much damage. You know, so many teams are now, walking into that closer circle. We're seeing an E-plat already dropped by Ash to provide a little bit of extra space. Gecko applying a little bit of poke and pressure onto GRR. They're going to be having their own individual fight.
Goodness.
Oh my god, on the left-hand side, big punch by Ash and a naughty follow-up. A couple of LNBs sent by onto Valkyrie. Yes, they don't jump away.
Swap from Levin.
More teams worth of fights, I would assume at least. Phase Strikes is now last alive, as we saw in the kill feed. Fuzu was found dead. We are seeing E-plat placed by GRR at the same time as well, and I think that's the second nuke. We already saw one. Oh, a spike as well, surprisingly. Oh my god, that was super clean.
And now WAF look for another French team to see if they can take more out of the air. They do so. Only aggressive is left, and same with Rue. Face Strikes taken down by Det Barek. Gur, a blast off, and he doesn't have a clone anymore. He's already used that one. A dodge on the Abyssal Breaker, but there's the snipe from WAF. Have to heal up over the Abyss with a nice E-plat. They'll stay safe, but that base camp about to be taken by 3LP. They try to push back before it's going to be going over to the way of 3LP, but they're still not going to be able to stop them with Bow. On the other side, jumping on to WAF. Only Shichi is left. You got to pull off a miracle like you did yesterday, and that's going to be the case. Shin sniping him out of the air.
With the chilling finale on top, they buy themselves so much time to get cooldowns off again, reset, and just go in again with the next kind of iteration of skills. And obviously that did lend themselves to win the fight. Surprisingly, they get a spike.
Gecko, they've got damage on a shroom. He's been cutting away. Nice air blast behind to see if he can keep himself safe. With SB hunting him down instead of looking for the fight against Bounce. The team and back over at Gridlock. Apex, they fight with 3LP again, but 3LP feeling a lot stronger in this one. Rhapsody has no health. Vampiro trying to grab the Zephyr into the... He's built different, and speaking of built different right now, Shies with a different build with Tom Kick. He's the first one to fall against WAF. He might be able to grab that rat, but you can see the rat hopping around, and they're not going to be able to get him. He is going to be stuck.
Oh no.
While Aurora, they're...
Hopefully CC challenge to Oka, but he manages to make his way out at the last second, so looks like oh, Rivel gets the dunk. He finds Levity. We did see Sus going up to the north side very early. I cannot believe that.
Another spike. Wow, that is so unfortunate for Levity.
I really like that kind of hesitancy, or kind of, oh, never mind. A hook comes in. That's probably going to be a guaranteed kill for sure. Oh, and this
Tolt narrowly avoiding death. Well, missed in the middle of 2. Bow are winners of game 1. Gur, they barely were able to make it in to day 2 here for Turbo Cup, but Mist are trying to bully them around. Godfrey put into the corner with no...
They just have godlike positioning, it feels like. And already Jiro get the Resolve just in time, but Rue, they're looking to pounce on it. Same with 3LP. Oh, the slow wave comes out massive. Oh my, so much damage. Wix is the last alive. Oh, they get it.
And he was blocked by the wall. The Tetraform made it so he couldn't escape with 3LP. Well, you killed Gur. They've already got Shroom onto the respawn beacon, hoping they can get that. While Rue...
Down to the south side, another Abyssal Breaker's been used. Rebel's getting a decent amount of damage, and Groove actually has to send his own Abyssal Breaker out. Orlando's is temporarily stripped from the team, has to do a nice little knockaway. Big ulti sent by Ash, gets one kill.
Punch. What a punch from Ash to kill one of Mist. But they still are standing strong, looking for their own pull. Rather behind the Mist on the run now as Ash.
Then is the back where Shroom is likely to be dead instantly afterwards. So 3LP have to look for another res opportunity again, and Calcio is looking to bully Aiden in this scenario, but Atkins there with the reinforcements, doing a massive amount of damage to that Oath right at the last second. And now, yeah, 3LP is troublesome. Oh, he's found a decently sized Fusillade onto 3LP. Of course, they got the res off, but now it looks like Rue going in.
They will rue the day they went up against Rue, who take him down immediately. Only Aiden. Again, one left for 3 little pigs, but Rue has to deal with Shin, who's already been able to pop one. Calcio is pushing him into the wall. Abyssal Breaker on their position. No escape for Fate Strikes. Calcio same, falling at 9th place, but this has brought
glorious in about 30 seconds. Meanwhile, we're looking at Shy and AOR. Looks like Ninja's going to make it out with a slither HP. Getting hit up rapidly by Hudis. It looks like Ninja's found Tom Kick. So Shy
Can get away by looking for the fight against Aurora, and Sus as a team that is also trying to rat their way back into the game. Oko gets sniped out of the air, and now they're down, but it was also Squaggy fighting back. No way, Squaggy! Revive onto one, but there's low health. He's over the abyss. Narrowly any health left. Squaggy is out!
You know they see these audio cues. I think SB desperately want to try and find a kill if possible. Maybe it's on to Chichi. They get it back.
And Debrick! He's got it! They're back! I could not get that respawn beacon. SB fully in control. It's our first casualty. Blast off from Debrick. Miss 200. Gotta be careful. They can get sandwiched. There's gonna be an abyssal breaker coming in from Gecko. Trying to push him back, but Waff looking for the fight. Shin was low, but now they have to go back for Debrick and push into the abyss. But it's gonna be Shichi trying to see if they can snipe it out of the air, but he's got no health left, and they've got no armor. Waff, they tried to engage aggressively and leave Phantom alone, fighting up against SB. Miss 200. Can you intervene on behalf of another? It's gonna be Waff taken down by SB off screen. Miss almost losing Rebel.
Oh, yeah, just right at the end, SB get another kill, so they definitely picked up a bunch of kills as well. Looks to apply pressure onto MST. The overkill round to come on to Kalskinator. Looks like Kuba's also likely to be dead very shortly. Another kill donated to SB, and Kalsk might be the second one to do it in this situation. This could be MST out here. Now, if SB want to continue to apply pressure, they get the bonus connection, Abyssal Breaker, the Fuselord, mega combo, magical, and a crown.
Slightly getting away from them. Pull onto Orlando's, but not the one on the ground. An ice dunk. They get a kill onto Orlando's. Now dealing with SB right at the front. They get a little bit of damage onto them by putting up the bright shield, trying to defend them again, but with a broken shield on it to Baru. They gotta be careful on how they want to fight this one. Trying to see if they can get a nuke to land on SB, but Mech a little bit too far forward. No health left on Red. SB, and look at Baru coming in from the high rope, trying to get the knockout, looking for cookies. Oh, Cannon Crusher, just needing to land it, but Shin makes sure there's no crowd for Baru, and it is Red out at third. Baru pushed it.
Exactly, and it looks like Oko potentially has to jump ship right at the last second as Shire playing, mountains of pressure, and it looks like Square's now getting chain CC potentially by Tom Kick, and already Wixen finds Lizardo Rhapsody as well, so, just after they got that res off, they're already in big trouble now. Leatherfy is trying to get some nice level AD straight to the LMB poke.
There was a team waiting for their arrival, so Apex, second game
GRR on this scenario, so they're going to have to jump ship again. The bonus
Double
connects!
Again, Shin! It's so good with Shiv that anyone that comes near him, double out at 11th again.
I can't believe it. He gets the dagger out at the last second, but Waff with it. So hopefully he's okay. He pops the Fuselord again because the reset gets a kill. Oh no.
Out of his mind for Stormbreaker. Shichi over the abyss, but now that Aurora are here.
No.
And this
to say about this, of course, trying to get the Illuna route, but the shield is there at the last second. He gets the Abyssal Breaker, actually kills Hudis. 70% threshold. That's a dunk, and then maybe another dunk coming in. Sebi on 1 HP. Can he get the kill, every important kill last second? But now they're in a bit of a sticky situation. Rebels now they're forced into the zone. The shield's now on less than half HP. They just blocked the stun. Oh no,
back.
Slug wave.
Rebels got them, and now Cookies, Red, get out of dodge. Over towards SB and Rue. It is Deprek trying to fight back. Now Shin on that flank has the angle. Hover wing from Fate Strikes leaves behind Calcio. Another team that was topping the leaderboards in the qualifiers. Out so early with Shy having to blast away, but the pull to drag them back in the fight. Aiden pushed back by Tom, but Tom, this old rock wall is due. But now that SB are over the abyss, they got nearly any health. Can they survive? Bauer hunting them down. They see the blood in the water. They're hunting down these kills, looking for the dunk. They got some, but it's going to be Deferent getting Baroof instead. They pushed it back onto Bao. Bao thought they had their moment, but SB are not going to be so easily broken.
Oh, no.
They got Orlando's. They got Ash. He's got nowhere to go. And Bao, this is going to be an early exit for them. All they have to do is confirm that.
Cookies picks up the crown as well. Hopefully he can last long enough for SB.
Oh
no.
Nothing they can do, but because SB tried to stop the crown, they put themselves in a bad spot. They used so much just to get the K, but sees a crown on SB. Can he snipe that away from Shin? Trying to put down the orb, a nice blink back.
Oh no! And the Gecko, it looks like he's lasted for long enough. We're seeing a nice little blast away. Oh, and the shield knockaway as well. Looks like Aklink's already dead. They're going to lose the Dragon Breath round, and Shrew is now.
Kalskinator hunting this down, desperate for it. Not back Kuba, but they got to fight against 3LP over the lava. Somehow Rebel with no health, sniped by Shrew, finally will fall as Kalskinator, the next target for 3LP. It's only going to be Kuba left, while Wop have moved up north, pulled into the fight on the lava. They're going to take a lot, but they've summoned Napalm, and with that, trying to get the flank pulled in by Aiden, forced to fight the Rebel, doing the same, looking for the same play. 3LP, they had everything going their way. away. Yet they're the team that has been broken, but missed. Won the fight against Wuff, knowing they still have to take him down. Looking at other angles, there is always the possibility 3LP get back into the fight. There's going to be the first casualty on Kuba, but it is still them trying to see if they can bring back up Shichi. Wuff push back on his position. They've actually got onto the Wisp. They have enough time, but Napalm summons Shichi down just as quickly as he got back up and in the storm. Wuff can't get back in quick enough. They're taking too much damage. Sniped out into the kill on Acklings and summon Napalm, but 3LP have gotten back to the Chaos Steps. A lot of damage on Aiden. Kuba going to be the target. They've got rid of the tank, but they also got rid of Kuba. He can mantle for a while.
Played by 3LP. Crown pick up last second by Calculator, but I don't think he's gonna have to pull off a miracle here. It's been pulled into the zone. The third, of course. Looks like Orlando's. Yes, a nice little knockaway at the last second against SB. They're really trying to desperately get the kill. They're probably gonna be successful. Shin, he has the level 7, so he's still got the fuse slot. Pops the bonus, gets a nice little stun connection. Greninja super low on HP. Gecko's getting this massive dashes in. Sebi also dead. It's just who is it?
No, he's not. He's run back up because of the Luna, but Sebi there. Squishy Luna with a root on to Shiv, dodging, and other teams where they lose a lot of that defensive style and have to play more aggressive, as Aurora playing aggressive against aggressive, but he's been caught out with Gur. Godfrey putting down the bullet and trying to see if they can get the root, while Aurora trying to get away from the Shy. Shy's trying to see if they can chip some people out of the air. Who did?
Not enough. I think he bit more than he can chew, and Cooper's now having to stick the res onto Hot.
Never doubt depth from these players, finding a nice snipe on Calcio, and they're hunting further and further.
Oh my god.
One of the few teams not hit by bans, and being a top team to not have to worry about it.
Along with WAF, this is going to spell trouble, Magical.
Levity did swap above the ledge and is going to get past that rock, but now a huge fight between WAF.
Oh, they didn't want to, have another team just instantly third party them. At the same time, Adamok finds Levity. They know that they were, on their last leg. So just Oko last live. Big fight now.
Fusilon, SB, back to the tracks, but right now, Rat have already been in control of that with Bullet Train gun, but it's going to be Oko losing their life. Wolf has got the change, but it's got a nice wall put up to make sure that nobody can continue to chase on a Rat's boat, but they're going to get a little bit of damage, pelting the boulders back and forth. Rat finding the first casualty on a Wolf. Wolf sent flying yet again over the abyss. Now Air Blast, putting him over to Rat. It forces the fight. 3LP have got the damage on him. It's going to be Shy stealing the kill, though.
He had that face deal. The dragon's already been used. This could be trouble.
That's a lot of damage on Shin. It forces the fight from SB as they're waiting for Shin to find his flank. He hasn't popped the Fusilon just yet, but he's taking a little bit too much damage. Same for SB as they had lost Gecko to the storm. And now 3LP collapsed. Shin is gone. Deathbrick, he's sandwiched between two teams. He hoped to get around the circle, but unfortunately there was no escape. And now Shy stared down 3LP, debating whether or not to
a little bit of pressure. Hatchet tries a punch, but doesn't get any connection. Unfortunately, the nuke's been dropped. Really trying to circle things out here. Hopefully they can get a pick. The Fusilon's popped. Aiden's really forced it out. Mega damage.
What a grenade from 3LP to blast Shy back to the track. Tom taken down. E-Plat plays. Brocane trying to defend with Hachi, but there's the shock trap drone. Rat have placed down onto Shy. Damage onto Hachi. Only Brocane left. Portals away. It almost kidnapped 3LP, but damage is just too insane. Here's the train. Shroom somehow gets around it barely, but Acklings got kidnapped by it. Dragged into the storm. 3LP punished by a train. They might not have died to it, but they died to Rat. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta as they look for Aiden. Win that crowd. He's got nowhere to go. Locked in the cage as the Rats play victory in the early game, but it's not them. It's Brocane coming out of nowhere with Shies to pick up the kill, but getting sniped out of the air by Shichi, landing those headshots. The 360 no-scopes, but now pushed into the spikes going underneath them, but he's not done. He's staying in the fight, looking for Hachi, looking for Tom Dick to 9. Their respawn to get the Death Box revive as Shichi goes backwards. Snipes again! Shichi, you can't keep getting away with that!
Combat. At the same time, WAF get outed by Sebi.
They're left to fight, and right now we're looking at Aurora staring down.
Oh my god!
We're separated momentarily, but that singularity, absolutely.
And Kuba actually sends in quite aggressively. The Vortex Trump just narrowly misses. Rebel on 1 HP. Gets killed right at the end, Magical.
Yeah, a little bit late because Calculator had hopped into the portal and then he tried to hop back to save Revel, but now Kuba is left alone playing this Nick.
Deborah, and Gecko's there with the reinforcements. Very, very instantly gets rapidly healed up by Shroom at the last second. Gecko has to dash down. Deborah goes with the ulti. Nice little dash away to the north side by Gecko. Hopefully Deborah can escape. Aiden also in a little bit of a sticky situation now. Has the dagger back into Cookie's domain, right into his face, getting absolutely
blows. Aurora have been hanging on for dear life, but it's a lot of damage on a Greninja as they've been separated by the Tetraform, and now pushing in Apex, looking for the moment to strike. Rhapsody is down. No, Hootis is down. 3LP. No, not 3L. Yeah, 3 Aurora are giving him some time, waiting for Aurora to play aggressively towards him. Even with the root, though, gotta be careful. Shin's been taken down. Aurora find their moment as up in the air. Gecko is gone. Deborah did turn it around.
In fact, it looks like a big sending by Lizardo trying to get something with the Fuse Pop. Unfortunately, Greninja gets the kill by Pyrrha. Sends a note up to Hootis. 1 HP. Who's the anomaly? The crown pickle.
Punch. Isabi's taken low. Vipero and Apex fight back successfully against them, but Vipero is so low, and Greninja hopes to make sure they can take down the Zeph, but Vipero is doing so much to try to get away. That did not give him that opportunity, pushing away Gecko, but the chase.
Greninja getting absolutely chunked by Gecko and the rest of the members of SB. Shin actually finding the last kill. Onto AUR, taking him out with a nice little singularity, but this actually killed Levity. Wow.
Not really good placement. Shin's already found him. You already used your illusion. You're in the storm and an easy target, but up north, 3LP have to deal with Rue, who've already been able to take down Shroom to die off screen. Rue has to get back because Space Strikes is a little bit too low in SB. They decided to intervene. Third party, making a fourth party because Ryder here has out Shin. Next is Death Correct, pushed over the ledge again. He's already used Blast Up. Easy target. It is just a sniper's galore here for Meki Mek, getting rid of Death Correct. And even if you go up in the air with a thunderstorm, where you're gonna go, Gecko? Long time, no health, dash away towards the machine, but they're hot on pursuit. They've gotten rid of him, and Rad, they're looking for
with open arms, and the avalanche comes in a bit of snow on slow violence with the chilly finale pop, but the rocks are also popped, the ulti by Cookies, the final couple of LMBs come in.
They win a third in a row. That could be them clinching and stealing away first place.
Pop, trying to get some poke onto Meki. The dash actually scuffs. He's only less than half HP. Had to pop his 50% skill already. And now there's a nice little dunk by Adamok. He's taking down Deborah. Kudis finds everything at the same time. There's a little bit of snipage coming out. A dash down to the bottom left-hand side by Gecko. Is he going to survive in this scenario? Circled back out, and they completely made it out. All members alive. Wow.
A 3LP. Wow. Finding SB the perfect target.
Oh my god.
The team they want to eliminate.
So it's kind of two ults down on either side. They can't really do the combo anymore. Maybe they could with of course Calcio with the Celeste combo with the TP.
Radar gone!
That's no way!
Oh no! The tragedy for
my
Rat
god.
as they get eliminated.
Absolute worry mode. Gets a pick up right at the last second. A nice little knockaway. So Shin's potentially in a really, really bad situation. Looks like Giro probably looking to square this one out. And SB, nice little dash escape at the last second. Fortunately, SB are all outed.
3LP.
This is a nice little play by Vipera, getting a decent chunk of damage here right at the last second onto MST, if I'm not mistaken. Vipera has to take the win tunnel right at the last second, but Bauer there looking to get some free kills. Rhapsody might be the next victim, already found dead, so it's just Vipera.
At least they can try to take a game, but it's going to be difficult because they have to deal with 3LP, helping to sandwich them between them and Mist. Getting damage, finding the flank on to Mist, pushing him back with the gold armor, trying their best to heal back up as they look for a re-engage. A lot of damage has been dealt to Mist, who jumped over the ledge, trying to get away. Dunk from Calskinator, making it even 1-for-1. Kuba in Wisp form, Ackling debating whether he wants to engage. It's going to be the snipe from Gurg, taking down one more. Only Calskinator's left with Twitchbog, and Calskinator trying to get away. Sus, take the spot. That swamp almost held out Calskinator, but he didn't have Volcanic Rebuke, so first team missed 200.
Aggressive to get a bit more poking before he probably dies. Yep, succumbs to Bruce ulti there right at the last second, and the chase is just never ending there. Ash with a massive big dash. He's 4 red perked up as well, really, really strong. Wixen actually returns the pressure with his own ulti, manages to survive for a split second longer. We're using Fuse to take down Wixen aggressive. Another one, a victim. 1 member left now.
Brewer about to get sandwiched into the vortex, showing the prediction, locking him in, but now with Singularity, 3LP, they try to see if they can snatch that away. They do, they get the kill, and now they fight back. Chilling Finale put on Baroof, try to push him away with the frozen barricade, but it's not enough time. They brought back Baroof, but Baroof immediately put back into the wisp, and then it's going to be
connection too. Tries to go over the mountain, can he make it over? Goes to 3LP, Aiden gets the kill, and it's just Bruiser now potentially getting caught out on 1 HP himself. Shroom sends a couple of enemies. Held temperament, because as we've seen so many times before, they are typically a super aggressive team. They do need to get this kill to go before it takes too long.
There's going to be a little bit more fighting to be had as they try to swap over the abyss, but it's a nice snapback. Trying to get away from that one. Beacon Rewind did great things, and still with the swap, trying to stay behind Calcio, who's put down the Chilling Finale, but Aiden snipes him out of the air. Congratulations, 3LP! You've made history as the first team to win Turbo Cup.
Let's go.